You know what, baby? I'd like to know how in the hell I ever wound up becoming a chicken chasing retiree. You know, how the hell did that happen? Hey, folks, how you doing? Michael Noland. The bottom line tonight is Tribal Forum number 63. I'm making sure all my devices are turned down. Yep, that was me out in the yard. That's why I was late getting up. For the fourth time in the last half hour chasing chickens, and they'll be back. So if you hear a cock crow three times, it's not 3 a.m. It'll just be my neighbor's chickens. All right. Okay, so I mentioned that tonight is Tribal Forum number 63. What is a tribal forum? What is the tribe? You might be asking if you're brand new subscribers. If you've seen my regular videos, but this is the first time you've ever been on one of my streams, this is where I get to talk to you guys in the here and now, live, right? On longer streams, I get to actually read some of your wonderful comments. I think I may have time to get to some of them tonight. Midweek, I usually spend a little more time on those on Sunday evenings. And by the way, midweek, I might as well let you know my hours. I'm a one man shop, except for when I stream. It's a mom and pop shop. My lovely wife, Kimberly, who you see in the comments, is my producer and my tether to you as I give a presentation. That's what's a little bit different about my live streams. It's not a panel discussion. It's just me coming up, usually with a prepared theme to the entire stream. I give a presentation, and then whatever time I've got, I get back to you guys, right? And I give my responses to some of the comments you've got, because I've got a couple of dinger questions to ask tonight. So we're going to be talking about the Beatles Anthology box set. All right. Is it a ripoff or is it a must have? Is this what the Beatles fans wanted and will it sell? And if so, if it does sell, which I can't imagine it not under these conditions, who is it really aimed at? Have you thought about that? And then when I'm through with tonight's stream, by the way, Sunday evenings and Monday evenings at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when I stream. But on Sundays, I take about a half hour off or less, depending on how long this stream goes. I go for about an hour on Sundays, sometimes a little bit more. And then I give myself just enough time to slip into my back cave. Now, I know a lot of you didn't know I had a back cave, but I do have a back cave. Michael Noland, I was born Michael Noland, but it's really only my secret identity. And tonight I will slip into my back cave and show up at Royce as somebody else. All right. So there's a little tantalizing offer for you. A good reason to watch Royce in the House right after this show. He's going to start streaming at 6:30 tonight. All right. So that's about a half hour, 15 minutes after I stream. Oh, good Lord. Michael, thank you so much. $2 super thanks. We always talk about the power of two. And I love this. He says, I'm a real wild one and I like the wild fun. Yeah, me too, brother. Thank you so much, Michael. Michael is a longtime viewer and a supporter of this channel. I always call these the power of two. Sometimes the channel will get pretty large super thanks, right? And it's what's keeping the channel alive. I won't bring up any of that nonsense. Maybe we'll go over some of that on Wednesday as to why this whole thing is set up the way it is. We just don't have the time tonight. But you guys quite literally are keeping this channel alive. And we are in some hesitant days on the channel. Now, that doesn't mean it's all kind of bleak news. We're still growing. Well, we're not growing, actually. And that's part of what I'll be talking about here coming up. uh, covering channel business. And the reason I do this now, before we get into the Beatles box set, and then we're going to devote the rest of the stream for that, is to allow people time to get in on the stream, and then we can all kind of start together live, all right? But I just announced that the channel had reached 12 million and a quarter views. 12 and a quarter million views. Just since my last stream on Wednesday, we've already hit almost 12 and a third million views. We're at 12,311,825 views. And we've done that in just a little over 3.5 years. Isn't that wonderful? I think that's just fantastic news. I got a brand new video out right now that's actually getting very good views. It's only a portion of my last stream that didn't get any negative comments about it and everything. This one's gotten quite a few. I even wound up losing a longtime viewer and subscriber over this, to the point that he felt that he needed to make some very negative comments about yours truly, right? And not only that, but did it several times, and then blamed me for being a negative Nelly, right? And he did this several times because I dared criticize. And by the way, the person that I criticized, I'm also a subscriber to. Matter of fact, two people I criticized, I was a subscriber to. And if you watched that video closely, the majority of my remarks were directed at more locally based content creators that I've bumped up against. It's mainly, I do it this way, they do it that way. I don't agree with it, right? The same thing I always do. I'll tell you what, I told you every time I cover Roger Waters.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Deuces, wow. Then with a $5 super thanks,
always so wonderful.
getting Kimberly all excited.
Oh my goodness.
Says anything that has the name Beatles on it usually sells well. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight, Deuce. The Deuce has spoken. Well, we always listen, brother. You know that. Rock on, my tribal brothers and sisters. Thank you so much, Deuce. We appreciate it. So, anyway, I was going to say, this is a longtime viewer, so this hurt a little bit, you know. I've had great interactions with this individual over the years and everything. And the fact that he had to turn around and do an attack about me being a negative Nelly, you know, he said, you know, most of your streams are about criticizing this and that. I looked at my latest streams. Out of my last six, there are three that could be considered critical and three that were quite positive. Then I looked at my last 35 streams, brother, and out of those, 10 of those could be considered critical, or if you didn't like what I had to say, negative, and 25 all positive videos. And the fact that you had to hide your attacks in other people's comments, not only once, twice, three times, but four times that I counted, right? And then I just gave up, tells me where you've been coming from all along. So I'm sorry to see you leave. I really am. I've enjoyed our discourse. Yeah, you're one of my or were one of my earliest subscribers. You know what? And then he compared. He said then he would rather go to other more positive places. And one of the places that he mentioned was Phil at Wings of Pegasus. Now you guys know I like Phil. I'm a subscriber to him, but by this guy's very reasoning, isn't Phil guilty of being quite negative? He's attacking people who are lip syncing. He's catching them. He's busting them. What's the difference, old crow? No crow like an old crow, baby.
That's right.
No crow like an old crow.
Like an old crow.
All right. Okay, so and I do want to bring this up because of that. The channel has taken a hit. I've lost dozens of subscribers over this. My big mouth, and like I said, it's thinning the herd. I'm not too concerned about that. It's frustrating because this last month has been, not zero growth, but very thin growth. But that's also indicative of summer months. I'll let you know, and I'll keep you guys apprised of how things are going. Many of you are claiming that you're being unsubscribed, and that is also being reflected, as well as the dozens of subscribers that I lost over this video. I can guarantee you they're not going to stop. I haven't changed my mind. You haven't softened me one bit, because when I'm positive, I'm heartfeltly positive. And when I have concerns, it comes from the same place, the heart. But here's the thing. Whoa, what do we got here?
Oh my goodness sakes. Okay,
Josh. I always call him Josh. It just says J-O-S, all in capital letters. Says today in Beatle history, August 24th, 1963. Please, please me, LP. Number one. 16th week UK charts and concert at the uh, I'm not sure how Galmont and Bournemouth.
Gomont.
Yeah, with Tommy Quakley. Yeah, he's part of their history, and Billy J. Kramer, also part of their history with the Dakotas. And Joss gave us a $10 super thanks. Thank you so much, Joss. I appreciate that. All right, so I did want to let you guys know I'm still on a reversed thing. I actually looked into seeing if I could do that. By the time I came up with a fix, my image is reversed. It's not just a reverse thing. I need to complete my sentences, evidently here. But and I think I may have found a fix. No promises, but if I did that, it was coming up too close to the stream, and if it didn't do what it was, I didn't want to have to worry. So I may do a test stream on a couple of things as we improve the sound and the video on this stream. But we do have merch, as was asked by many of you. You were demanding it. And this is a reversed image of what you would get on our mug here. Coffee mug. There you go. Beautiful. It's got my mug on the back with the name of the channel, right? Michael Noland, the bottom line. And it is a tribal mug. This is the mug. Matter of fact, I'm going to quit displaying these and start using these on my stream. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Right? I mean, damn it, I got the mug.
Yeah.
Might as well. I eschew from coffee when I'm up here, but maybe if I started with a cup, my first cup as we got over here, you'd see me coming unglued, unpeeled off the walls, folks, by the time the stream was over. But we also have the original tribal mug as well. We are the tribe. All right. And I've explained that, and due to the time limits tonight, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time, but a lot of thought went into me designing these mugs, folks. All right. And so, what I wanted to do was to give the tribe a theme through merchandise as well. Those of you who are really true blue, I mean, I have about 1,000 of you that will watch just about anything I put out. Another 2,000 of you will watch almost everything I put out. And about 5,000 of you watch a lot of what I put out, right? And that is what I would consider inner tribe people. Those are the folks that want to see the channel grow, and they're interested in what the channel talks about. All right, that leads me to shout outs from my last stream. Won't take but a second here, folks. We got some, of course, some super thanks on the stream. I always shout out the previous streams super thanks. Okay. And of course, one of these names changed magically. I can't believe this. Some guy, girl, thing called the Four Horsemen gave us $5. Now, I don't recall a Four Horsemen being in there. That's interesting. And I've noticed a Four Horsemen in the comments tonight, baby. Have you? Ooh, what's that all about? Okay. Well, that was formerly Royce in the House. Royce has rebranded his channel. We can see it here clear. Sorry, Royce, I have to say it. I mean, to give you your super thanks, right? And more on that. Royce has got an explosive intro tonight. Lots of changes, right? You guys are going to want to see that. John C. came in, and he was usually the last one that comes in. I'm just reading these from top to bottom, which is opposite how they came in. But John C. gave us a $5 super thanks. Michael Boswell, who's already been in tonight, gave us a $10 super thanks. Thank you, Michael. John, Royce. Deuces Wild, who's been in tonight, gave us a $5 super thanks. Rockin' Robin Bird gave us a $2 super thanks. Natalie Angelo gave us a $5 super thanks. Michael Boswell followed his super thanks with a $2. And Ben Scheidecker. Ben, I want to thank you and everything for what you've done. I mentioned several people who really bring me to task and support this channel. And I haven't been bringing you up when it comes to mine. I thought about that the other night. You're one of those like 12 to 20 people that really take me to task and really dig what we're trying to do here. And what is that? Is to have a conversation. If you don't agree with what I have to say, folks, that's fine. That's fine. The forum is for you to type in what your response, what your feelings are. Like I said, all those negative comments, I didn't remove those comments. All right. I have left those. You can search those comments out on my latest video, right? I want a dialogue here. I was just concerned that somebody else was trying to control the timbre of the dialogue, or at least say I should change my timbre of my dialogue. He was too busy going on his way out of here, right? So we'll talk a little bit more of that as it goes along, because I don't have a thin skin. I wear criticism pretty well, but coming out of the blue like that with all positive discourse, as I recall, and then just such an attack really took me to task. I thought of even canceling this video or this stream tonight and just take a few days off and germinate on the whole idea. And I thought, no, that's giving him too much power. So you got me. All right. So, did I get everybody? Yeah. All right. So that gets us to the Beatles, what is being called the Anthology 4 box set. Actually, it's just the Anthology box set that also includes a fourth package to it. If you recall, in 1995, Anthology 1 came out. It was 1996 that Anthology 2 and Anthology 3 came out. I've already said that I thought that that would have given the Beatles good reason to release these albums next year. The majority of the albums were released in 1996. And the reason that I thought that should be a thing is because this year isn't really their full, the anthologies, their full 30th anniversary. This is the 30th anniversary of Anthology 1 being out. We wouldn't get the other two until the following year. And so I thought, move that the Beatles should move their anniversary to 1996, right? And make room for Rubber Soul to finally be remixed, remastered, boxed up, and give us whatever they have as far as extra material, even if it didn't fill a single LP, then give us some EPs that would go with it. They could have gotten creative. Now, the reason I say that is a lot of people say there wasn't a lot of excerpts they could use from the Rubber Soul period, right? And yet, yeah, that's going to work into some of my thoughts on the anthology. All right. If you recall, when the anthology came out, before it came out, George Martin several times said, there's no Beatle gold left in the vaults. Mark Lewison said that for the most part.
Oh my goodness, hon, two just came.
Oh my goodness.
At the same time.
I'll get right to it.
Just wild again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
White Monkey, I really, yeah, I was just on White Monkey's show since that came up, and then I'll get to Deuce here. Thank you so much, Deuce. A $10 super thanks. I'm going to read yours in a minute. White Monkey, a $2 super thanks. The power of two. He says, Real Love and Free Bird aren't great songs. I like Free as a Bird. Uh, myself. Did I call it Freebird just now? I bet you I did.
Yeah.
But I like Free as a Bird. I like the hauntingness, the very stuff that many criticize. You couldn't isolate his voice and everything. I like that whole approach, and especially with that. Uh, um, the video that went with it. I was a sucker for it. Real Love, I wasn't ever real happy about. It was something I felt John could write in about 5 minutes, personally. Loved Now and Then White Monkey. Okay. Uh, but I just listened. Well, I've been listening to it on and off ever since it came out. They've released a pre-release of um, which one was it? Free as a Bird, right? And John's vocals are up in the mix. It's an improvement. They haven't lost the ghostly elements of his voice. So the ghostly elements that kind of were part of what sold the song for me are still there. Um, there's some sparkle guitar parts I hadn't heard before. Just before I got up here, and I didn't have the time to re-listen. Otherwise, I tell you, it's toward the end of the song, and I went, "Whoa, where did that stuff come from?" Yeah, and I liked that. Okay, so just as it being remixed and everything, as a standalone song, I love it. I love it. I think they've done. I think they could have gone further with it, though. It still sets aside from Now and Then, as far as quality of sound and everything, vastly improved. Not vastly, but a definite sprinkling of improvement. Well worth remixing it. Okay, so that's my first impression of what I've heard so far. Deuces Wild said, also on this day, August 24th, 1967, the Beatles met Maharishi Mahesh Yogi at the Hilton Hotel in Park Lane, London. The connections and history are staggering, just as monumental as the music itself. I agree, Deuce. Yeah, George got them all hauled over to that meeting, didn't he? Yeah. Oh, Agent Pepsi is so nice to see you. That's the divine Agent Pepsi, right? She's in with a $5 super thanks. Thank you so much, Agent. I appreciate it. Remixing is where I have my issues. Okay. I have an original 1967 Sergeant Pepper's that sounds different than my CD. Well, yeah. I want the Beatles music, not remixes. Yeah. The first CD sounded different than that. And part of it is, and I even, while looking up the art, uh, some extra information on tonight's mixes and everything, Pepsi. So your comment is very timely. That part of the problem that many people wanted to get the vinyl to begin with when this was first released, 98% of us had to have bought it. I bought it on CD. I had already been out of vinyl. But the vinyl enthusiasts at the time, oh my goodness, Brandon, so good to see you. Brandon Butler's in with a $1. We'll take it, brother. Every buck counts. I appreciate it. And these things do mount up. All right. I do appreciate that, Brandon. Thank you so much. And he doesn't say anything, just chips in a buck, right? I'm an old busker, Brandon, right? I got my guitar case out right in front of you folks. So, what was I talking about when I was okay? As far as the remixes and everything, they wanted it on LP because of the warmer sound that you could get there. And the Beatles even admitted later that they would mix for the CDs brighter, right? Many people thought tinnier than they were. And since a lot of these were just barely mixed to begin with, because they were never meant, a lot of these recordings were never meant to be mixed anyway. They did what they could with the technology at the time, and there is some stuff on the anthology. I'm so glad that it's out, and there's some stuff on the anthology. I really didn't feel like. I mean, as a fan, I was always curious, and it's nice to have it, but I didn't do a lot of re-listening. I love John Lennon's Glass Onion off of Anthology. I wish that was the version that they put on the White Album, to tell you the truth. It's a goal. It's a goal, right? I love that. Okay. So there is a difference on mixes between digital and vinyl. It's a completely different thing. So I wanted to kind of go over how we got here before we take a look at this and what it has to offer. First of all, my story goes into this with Revolve. Well, let's take a look at this. It was not Revolver, but Sergeant Pepper in 2017. Now,
Oh my
oh
goodness,
my
hon.
goodness.
We got another one. Agent Pepsi again.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh,
Oh,
Agent
okay.
Pepsi, thank you
Did I
so
slip
much.
past the one? Yes, I did. Okay. Into stereos, DACs for CDs. Change the sound too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sure does. I got a machine right here, over here. It's off camera right now, but it's an Alesis, and it's a professional studio CD burner mastering, 24 bit, all of that stuff, and back in the day, for me to get a decent kind of equipment, when I used to record just
Oh my
reel to
goodness,
reel.
hon.
I'll be
White
right with you,
Monkey
White Monkey.
again. Oh, thank you so much, White Monkey.
I had very limited
Awesome.
equipment on reel to reel, but when I went digital, there were so many things that were offered for you, right? So that was one thing that I had in my studio, so that I could send off a master to a burning house or whatever, right? Okay, so White Monkey is in, and he says $5 super thanks. Thank you so much, White Monkey. 60th anniversary help album. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. August 6th. Help movie August 11th. Yeah. Oh boy, you just get right to the point, don't you? Okay. All right, Franco Blondie, let us in on it. He says Beatles at Shea Stadium, August 15th. Right, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. So, Sergeant Pepper, 2017. I wasn't buying vinyl, but I did buy it digitally back when you could still buy it digitally through Apple. Later, they changed that through just whatever. Uh, are you there? Is in with a $2 super thanks.
Oh my
Thank you so much. Are you there? I love your handle. All right. Yes, I love the little icon doing its thing. Rick Cesario, $5. Great channel, Michael. I wonder if Anthology 4 could be released as a single, not part of the whole. We're going to be talking about that as well. So anyway, when 2017 remix of Sergeant Pepper came out, I loved it, and there is many reasons why I loved it. I thought it was a wonderful remix, a reboxing. I loved the extra bonus tracks where
Rick
vocals were
Cesario
missing
came
and
in with
everything.
super thanks.
What's
Oh,
that, baby?
Rick Cesario.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness,
I
that's
just read it.
awesome. Thank you so
She's up
much.
typing with other people, so I think I'm seeing these earlier than she is tonight.
I think so, a
So
little bit.
anyway, so that was 2017, a wonderful hit. Followed in 2018 by the White Album, where we got the additional Easter sessions as well as other uh, wonderful tracks that should have. It was just a great box set all around. Now I've got the regular White Album myself, and I do want to get that box set if I can down the road. When it came out, I still wasn't collecting vinyl. Abbey Road came out now in 2019. Now, that's interesting because that's probably my least favorite remix. That's where I started hearing cracks in what Giles Martin had to offer. I didn't agree with some of the things he was highlighting and some of the stuff that got that was missing to my ears on that album. It wasn't a horrid remix, but I prefer the original mix to that, right? And then it would be 2 years before we got another thing from the Beatles.
Oh my goodness,
Rock and Robin Bird is in
always wonderful.
with a $2 super
Thank
thanks,
you
and all
so
she
much.
says is thanks. Oh man, thank you, Rock and Robin, and
Oh,
you're welcome for what it means. I'm serious. You are quite welcome. She
oh.
knows I put my heart and my soul into this, folks. So it would be in 2021 that we got Let It Be. Now, Let It Be, I wasn't a great fan of either, although not, I didn't have as much criticism against its package as I did Abbey Road. Okay, I thought they missed the boat a bit on Abbey Road. Nothing bad, and a lot of people love it as well as the Let It Be. Now, when Revolver came out, being my second favorite album of all time, by the way, not just my second favorite album of the Beatles, although my two favorite albums of all time are either Rubber Soul or Revolver. And for the first time, there were some misses on it, but they were near misses. The vast majority of that remix is wonderful, and it stands and should be there in canon. I love it. All right. It's fine. I would have this and that there. But for the most part, I was as impressed with
Okay,
what they did with
good.
Revolver as what
Oh,
they did
Josh
with
just hit
Sergeant
me with
Pepper's
the
Lonely
super
Hearts Club Band.
thanks.
I
Oh,
hear my
thank
wife
you
going
so
off,
much,
which means only
Josh.
one thing.
You're
Josh is
wonderful.
back in. My goodness,
Yeah.
Josh, thank you. He says 1964, Lennon met Dylan at Delmonico Hotel, New York. Dylan says, John, enough of this teeny bopper crap. Show me you have a pure heart. Show me you have something to say. Beatles then wrote songs with a message. What year was that now, did you say? 64. Yeah, because by 65, he was writing, You Gotta Hide Your Love Away, right? Uh, 64, he had already, Babies in Black. He was starting to take it seriously, wasn't he, Josh? Good point. All right, so we started to see a pattern, though, here, didn't we? We saw Sergeant Pepper, White Album, Abbey Road, Let It Be. They were working their way up, and then they switched. They went back to the album before Sergeant Pepper and started with Revolver. So you couldn't hang a guy out to dry for thinking that in 2023, the following year, that we would get Rubber Soul. All of us were hoping so. I've been on streams with people. We were pretty much predicting that's what we would get. That's what we, not so much predicting, we were just damn well expecting it, weren't we? And what did we get? Well, we got the blue and the red albums. All right. And not only did we not get Rubber Soul, okay, the first, yeah, I keep saying this, folks, this is the first classic rock album, the first true album of rock and roll in general. This is an important album, and it's also a wonderful album, my favorite Beatle album of all time. Them in their mid period at their most powerful, followed by Rubber Soul for the most part. Them actually, even though it sounds like they were leaving at the end of it, on both sides, especially the American version. Each side had psychedelic songs leading into it, but actually, Tomorrow Never Knows was the first song recorded for Revolver, right? But to us at the time, it seemed like, yeah, these were the bookend albums. This was the Beatles in their mid period. You could kind of honorarily include Help in that. I didn't, only because Help had too many covers on it. Other than that, it's as good as Rubber Soul. We just needed more Beatles songs on it for me, for my taste. And then if they had done that, that would have been rock's first true album. Well, maybe not, because see, during Help, a lot of those songs written on the fly and everything. See, with Rubber Soul, they took the time to craft the songs. There was a whole sound they were going after it, and everything, and that's why it's so important. But we get the Red and Blue album. Now, on top of all of that, we not only got the Red and Blue albums, but we got, what was it, 6 to 8? I meant to look that up because I thought I said six one time and then somebody else said eight. But half a dozen at least songs remixed and packaged on the Red and Blue albums. What a disservice to a masterpiece, rock's first masterpiece album. And they put it out in bits and pieces on it. So I thought, oh man, that, but with them including that, I thought, well, that means for sure in 2024, we're going to get Rubber Soul. Instead, we got the American box, the American album box, didn't we? The one thing nobody on the planet was asking for. When the news first came out that they were going to release that, I remember several of you content creators out there saying that. Yeah, the one, box set nobody was freaking asking for. Okay. And notice what the Beatles are embracing here. Now comes 2025, and we get anthology, a whole new anthology box set with a fourth disc. Okay. Now we see a brand new pattern. After Revolver, they broke their pattern. And what have they been doing? We got the Red and Blue albums, compilation albums, and an Alan Klein project on top of everything else. The Beatles hated Alan Klein, right? This was something, it made money for them. They didn't squeal a whole lot, but anything out of his wicked little mind, the Beatles weren't for, right? And then the next year, they released the American Mono albums, which the Beatles historically hated.
Oh my
Right?
goodness, White Monkey
I
just
see this.
came in with another super thing.
Oh, a $5 super thanks. Thank you so much. He
White
says,
Monkey, you're great.
ever see Tomorrow Never Knows played on the Beatles Saturday morning cartoon from 1967? Wild Stuff for Kids on a Saturday afternoon. Was that the one, or was it She Said that I saw of that same set of uh, cartoons and everything? I've got some sunlight coming in, flickering in there.
Yeah, we do.
You see that?
I do.
Wonder what
What
the hell, folks?
Okay.
The aliens, they have arrived. I don't know what that's all about. Let me see if I can. I don't know what's going on there. Very, very strange. I shouldn't have that happening, but we'll go on. Oh no, that's going crazy. It's like I've got this flash going. That's insane. Let's see. Let's see if I can just change the direction. That's better. Okay. Not quite the center position I like, but we'll go with that, and I'll redirect everything else I got here. Sorry about that, folks. So the package that nobody wanted, and anthology, the package that nobody expected. Okay, nobody was talking about this. Right now, I know a lot of people are excited about it. There's already, like I said, I've heard one cut off of it, and I had good things to say about it. But let's see what we get with this box set. All right. Now, once again, I would have been more interested in this on LP for me. If I was going to order this, I'd want this on LP. I'm going to tell you that right now. If I'm going to get CDs, I might as well just, and I am, listen to it on streaming because I have streaming as well. So I don't like the experience of CDs. You put the thing in, it disappears. It's not the same thing. You can click through fast. I like the whole romantic idea of putting an LP on the turntable, get back up and turn it over. There's a romantic thing. I know I'm a product of my generation, but that's what I would want. Okay, if I was going to get this. So what do we get? Well, a simple remastering. That's it, except for the few songs that they are remixing due to the new technology. And we'll talk about those as we go along. We're just getting a remastering. There's no remixing. Not that a lot of remixing, like I said before, needs to be done for a lot of these songs. But if you're going to repackage it and represent it, and it just seems like, it's a half assed attempt to me. And if you buy, and you have to buy the whole enchilada. How many of you went out there? I didn't. I wish I had gotten it on LP back in the day, and would just like to buy, or CD for that matter, and would just like to buy a single copy of Anthology 4. Doesn't come out that way. All right. Now, it may in the future, but it's not coming out now. That's not available to you. If you're going to get Anthology 4, you have to buy the whole package. And what we're talking about is a package of 12 albums or um, 8 CDs. You have no choice. That's what you got to get. And with only 13 new tracks added to the whole thing. Think about that. All right. Only 13 tracks that we've never heard before on the whole thing. Remember, I said on LP, there are 12 LPs. That's almost only one song on each LP, one song out of two sides of new material. That seems a little lean to me. 17 tracks are going to be added from other box sets. Here we go again. What happened with the Red and Blue album? They put Now and Then on it, right? Something that didn't belong on it. And then what do we get with this? They're going to put Now and Then on it, right? Devote a whole side to Now and Then and two other, Free as a Bird and Real Love. Okay, that's I think that's what is it with three is it six sides? Yeah, or side 12 actually. I'll go over the sides here in a minute, but the numbers are astronomical here, right? 17 songs off of a box sets from the past. Now, maybe you guys think that's kind of cool. If you're not, well, I never got a chance to buy a box set. So when I get that, at least I'll have some of those things that everybody's, raving about. That's kind of cool. But then you got to ask yourself, then why are you buying this box set if you didn't buy box sets in the past? And you're only getting 17 from them, but you're getting it's this thing is turning out to be a C sampler, right? Um, so you got 17 tracks. Two of the sides of these LPs have four or fewer songs on it. So lots of space on this. And the CD version, 8 CDs, right? The whole package, the whole enchilada, will cost you about $120. You can probably beat that. And there are sites where you pay more. All right. But the lean price, it seems to be about $120 for a package of 8 CDs, right? And the LP will cost you only $375. Okay. Just saw somebody talking on their stream about what that would cost you folks in Canada. $600 Canadian money. $375. All right. And the only new stuff you're getting are 13 tracks and basically 2 remixing for that price. So, what do you think? Are these packages aimed primarily at newer or younger fans? Remember, I said in the past that I think a lot of this is repackaging for a new fan base, pushing the songs over the artistic expression of individual albums. And they've been doing this for a couple of years now, folks. All right. And I even said when they first deviated from what looked like a pattern, it looked like they were going to go Sergeant Pepper's forward and then Revolver backwards. We haven't received a new
Oh my goodness.
remixed Beatle box set
Natalie Angelo came in with
of
a
their
super thing.
albums. I
Oh,
see that.
Natalie, that's so sweet. Thank you so much.
Rock on, Tribe, she says, with a
Yeah,
$2 super thanks.
absolutely.
Thank you, Natalie Angelo.
So
We
wonderful.
appreciate it. Right. And a tribal marshal on top of that. I hope the chit chat's kind of okay out there. I haven't asked for that. We didn't get a lot of trolls on the last one. So we'll see how that happens. And by the trolls out there, a couple of them were their energies were taken by somebody else earlier today, so they're focusing on that maybe, hopefully. But if you see one, you guys know what to do with them. All right. So it looks like that's what they're doing. So you got to ask the question.
Oh my goodness, hon. Ear just splitting, just
Ear just splitting Loudenboom.
splitting.
He has a secret identity too.
Yeah,
Very few
yeah,
know
I know.
that he's also known as Gear Jam.
You're just
Right?
Splitting the bullet. Yeah, Michael Boswell.
Swinging the juice hammer. Oh, Michael Boswell's in with a $5 super. Thanks. He says, young people don't have the expendable income to buy. Yeah, that's a good point, Michael. I may not have thought of that. So let's ruminate on your comment here. To buy a $120 set or $300 set, probably driven at the late 30s and early 40s crowd. Yeah. Uh, would that be Gen 3? If you're 30s and 40s, I know Bruce Cologne, a friend of mine who has a wonderful channel. It's in hiatus right now, but love him. Love to see you over on Royce's Bros. I always put that out there. He's busy, but him and I we're talking one night, and he said that he considered himself a Gen 2 Beatle fan. I'm Gen 1, and Bruce is, he was, what, at the time, I think he was 57 years old. He looked like he was about 38, young looking guy. And he even said, yeah, his defense over the Red and Blue album was, hey, look, that's what my generation grew up with. I bought that album. Oh wow! And then as I got older and could afford to get the albums, I went and bought those albums and learned to listen to the songs on those albums. And these days, I don't usually listen to the Red and Blue album unless I got company over or something like that, right? So I'm not against repackaging. Right, I love the Love album and what they did. I love that. That's what I thought Giles might have some of the pizzazz his dad did, but in my humble opinion, he really doesn't. He shows potential, but again, I bring you to the attention of his remix of "I Am the Walrus." I think it sucks. I think it sucks. Matter of fact, that was great harm done to that recording. That was like painting a mustache on the Mona Lisa to me. What he did on that. So, but I'm not going to get these. These I would have loved to have gotten this, but it's priced out of my range, folks. I wouldn't get the CDs because, like I said earlier, if I'm going to get a CD, I'm not. Yeah, the few times I do listen to CDs. Royce gave me a wonderful CD, and I listened to it in my truck. But I'm not going to be listening to these cuts in my truck. When I listened to it, what he gave me, "How the West Was Won" by Led Zeppelin, right? Right? That's ass kicking. You put that in the trunk, and the radio stations aren't playing it. You don't have to pair up your phone. Just slip that sucker in there. It's easier. So there is room for CDs with me, but I have a very, very extremely minute CD collection at this point, right? I'm more interested in the vinyl aspects, and that's the one I'd want. And I'm looking at this, and it's just going to be a cold, bare Christmas in the Noland household. Matter of fact, so cold and bare that I've already decided, well, I can't afford this thing. And besides, because Royce was so wonderful and sent this to me, I have now and then, right? Uh, but I've already begun, in the latter part of this year, I've got RAM, right? Just bought RAM because I knew I wasn't going to be buying the anthology, and just picked up John Lennon's very best album, The Plastic Ono Band, right? Finally got to John. So that's what it's not going to stop me from buying vinyl, right? It's not going to stop me from loving the Beatles. It's not going to stop me from wanting Rubber Soul, but I'm always going to have a black little hole in my heart regarding what Apple has done And I'm not even so sure that it's Paul and Ringo anymore that's part of this. You got to ask yourself, right? Are they even part of the decision making? And you almost feel like they're being brought in. They go, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good. You know, because there seems to be a, what would I call this? Remember when the Beatles were out? What did they offer us? What were they known to offer us? They were known to offer us value for the money. In uh, interview after interview after interview by the Beatles, George Martin, interviews even concerning Brian Epstein, that the Beatles were the hardest working band in rock and roll. Okay. And it was their intent. Their contract that they signed demanded 2 albums a year and 4 singles. Okay. That would be an additional 8 songs. That's a third of an album right there, besides the 2 albums a year. Every time you turned on the radio, you seemed to hear a new Beatles song back in the day, right? They were the hardest working, and they would criticize the American record company for uh, taking their songs and making 1 album into 2 or 2.5 sometimes, right? And they didn't like that because I remember interviews where Paul said, you don't know, we wanted to add value for the buck, right? And the problem with the American releases is they don't offer that, right? They're trying to get an extra buck out of you per buck spent buying the original intent albums. And yet look what we're getting. Look what we're getting. Now, they'll tell you the reason that they did that was because of the upcoming celebration of the Beatles landing in America, right? They even had a film, boring as shit, on Apple. And guess what? I did special things celebrating the Beatles landing in 1964 in America, and my videos got diddly shit, and so did everybody else's. There was very little interest in that this year. Now, maybe that's because we're coming off of a hot political potato of a year last year that people are just resting and going, oh, wait a minute, give me a moment, right? And now they're geared up for this anthology, right? So, anyway, I have talked myself to the end of my program. I am so sorry I didn't get to the comments tonight. I did get to the super thanks comments, and I appreciate those. We could talk more about this on Wednesday, and I'll spend some time with you guys in the comments, right? Kimberly, like I said, is my tether. I hope she's been keeping you guys well entertained tonight, right?
Oh yeah, they're entertaining me. Are you kidding?
I wish I could quit saying right.
Right, I know.
I always say right, 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 right,
You know,
all the time.
you
Jesus,
know,
I bore the
you
hell out of
know.
myself rewatching these things.
You know.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Do I do a lot too?
No.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. Yeah, and us. I'm real good at us. Then right. But so those are things I'm trying to hammer out, and all of that comes is that stuff gets kind of beat into shape by just doing more streams, folks. I always try to improve this. We had well over 125 of us. I saw 128 at one point. I'll get a final tour. So we had, or a report at the end. We had a huge audience tonight for this little old stream. Not bad. All right. I think it went real well. I love you guys so much for your support financially. I love you guys for watching me. Oh, good Lord. Oh, just the facts, man. Dan, I'm going to read this. I am assuming the families of the 2 deceased Beatles will receive royalty. Yeah, they will. Of course they will. They get all their pieces. And like I said, Dan, in my last comment, by the way, thank you so much for your $10 super thanks here. And by the way, yeah. Dan is going to be on with us tonight. I think he is. I talked to Royce early this morning. We actually had a phone call instead of just exchanging messages. And he'll be on up there. I hear Dan may be just merely a secret identity. Oh, he was born Dan McNew.
Dan
But I think
McNew.
Dan has a back cave too. What am I talking about?
Yes, he does. Go check his channel out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, Dan, so I absolutely check Dan's channel out. I'm going to start making sure I get over there. I want to start. I've been so busy, Dan. I haven't been able to see. I went over there about a month ago, and you were connected to some radio things happening and stuff. But then I went a couple of days
Oh
ago,
my
and I
goodness.
tagged a couple of videos
Joseph
to watch.
just came in.
Joseph, it's so good to see you.
Oh, thank
Yeah, he
you
may
so
have been in the
much,
comments the whole
Joseph.
time. Joseph always comes in. I love it. A power of two, $2. He says David Vali said 4 is available on Apple Music. It's not yet, but if you're talking about the whole thing, it will be. They've got the album cover up.
Oh my goodness, hon.
Oh my
Bruce
goodness.
just came in with another super thanks.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Just sending all
This is
love to
wild.
my tribe, the power of two.
Oh
Deuce,
my goodness,
thank you
he's
so much.
wonderful.
A $2 super, thanks. Yeah, and I'm hoping it will be on Apple Music, and I'm looking forward to that because I am interested in these 13 new cuts. I am interested. Okay, which songs did they take off the box set, right? Um, and I've already heard one of the songs. I'm also interested in the you know I they've already remastered a lot of these for CD anyway for Apple. By the way, it was that Joseph who brought that up. Yeah. Um, because of the very thing I was talking about, a tinny sound, an accentuation on too many highs, not enough lows. And so they did a special remix already. So I'm used to that remix, and I have that remix in my memory of Apple. So I can't wait to compare these. So this isn't going to be the last time I'll be talking about this. It's too bad this is all we have to talk about. Christmas, yeah. You know what I think about the Beatles and Christmas? My longtime viewers know that. A Christmas without a new Beatle product is like a day without sunshine to me. I really tie this band into the Christmas season, right? And here we go again, the third Christmas season, and another box set, another offering that I'm not going to buy. I would love to. I would love to get this on vinyl, you know, just try and find this. But $400? I mean, good Lord, no, I can't even begin to justify uh, what, that cost for what it offers, especially since it will be available for streaming, right? Now, if they ever, oh my goodness, John C, $5 in at, I told you he does that.
Oh no, here comes
Oh, John, they're trying to circumvent your final say, brother.
Thank you so much. Oh boy.
John C. with his final thanks, amen. You're welcome, JC. And Chris Barlow in with a $2 super thanks. Take care and turn it up to 11 till next time. Always do, brother. 11 is about all I know. Zero to 60 and 3 point nothing, and then 120 in a second later. That's me all over. I just say what's on my mind. You guys know that. All right, so we're a little after. I need a little time to cool down the studio and everything. Whole new thing happening here. You see, I'd say and join me on Royce in the House. But tonight, I think it'll change. I think we'll see Royce adding his name to this before we're over as well. But for tonight, there is no Royce in the House. I'll be on the Four Horsemen. In fact, I am one of the Four Horsemen. Join me in less than a half an hour on Royce and let Royce explain the whole thing because, frankly, I'm confused. All right, got to get into my superhero duds, and I'll see you guys over there. I mean it for you guys who just viewed me, right? How many? We've got 81 thumbs ups. All right, 19 more. And this stream, we already got a bump up live, which will explain why we had 128 viewers at one point. Perhaps we bumped into the 130s. I don't know tonight. All right, if we did, that would be one of my top streams. Right? Oh, at 128 is one of my top streams. All right, I think the highest I got was 124. I've had a few just over 100. We had one that was 224, and one night 289 concurrent viewers all at once. Right. So the word's getting out. Right. And if there is a flagship episode to the tribal forum, it's certainly my Sunday night stream because I'm busier than hell. I'm on air less time than I am on Wednesdays, but more time than I am on Wednesdays because I'll be up at Royce's and something tells me we ain't going to get out real quick tonight. Got a lot of business to cover. And I'm all prepped for it, Royce. All right. I love each and every one of you. It doesn't matter. The thumbs up, that's wonderful. These super thanks are so wonderful. You guys know what you're doing. I appreciate that. But you, the viewer, please understand I prep this, all this information, how I'm going to bring it out for you, whether you give me a thumbs up or not. I try to give you something to chew over in your mind, and then we can have a dialogue over it. Some people get their titties in a twist, don't they? And I talked about one of those individuals, and that's unfortunate, right? I mean no harm or disrespect to your gods, you know. But there's some out there that if you dare criticize Bruce Springsteen, I'm out of here. I liked his channel because he covered the Beatles, but I'm out of here. They just can't. And yet, I've shown you. I just recently picked up Born in the USA. So it's not like I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan. I am. But if something's wrong, I'm sorry. I'm going to bring it up or I'm going to have an opinion on it. But I think I've left plenty of room for you guys to reply, you viewers out there. If you're seeing this as a replay, you're more than invited to disagree with me. I encourage it. Sometimes I've been known to change my mind with a good argument right here on the channel. I'm not above learning myself, but I do have an opinion, and it serves to spark a conversation. And if that's too much for you, then maybe this channel isn't for you. All right. But there's a lot of great stuff going on over here. We've got a dialogue. Do you know the people that are watching me right now? We have Democrats, Republicans, we've got left and right wing people from all over the world. We've got people who are somewhere in the middle, people of different religions, different backgrounds, different sexes, right? We've got different philosophies, but somehow, if we can just be a little gracious to each other, we can make that work. We can lay that stuff aside and argue about rock and roll. Why not? I've got lots of that in me. I'm a natural contrarian anyway. My first reaction to any bit of news is, oh, yeah, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it's just part of my personality. And that's what gears this channel is that little nudge there. But I'm also absolutely in love. I'm a major Beatle fan. You can't find a bigger Beatle fan than me, and not a bigger McCartney fan, or Lennon fan for that matter, or Harrison or Starr. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes, and thanks for bearing up with me tonight. I didn't know if I was going to make it through this one. All right, I'll see you over at the Four Horsemen any moment now. Night, folks.